Hi everyone, it's Stella from Oh My Stella and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite a long while since I last made a video and I'm so sorry about that. I just spent a lot more of my time blogging and on Instagram, but I hope you'll forgive me. I just really wanted to make a video to show you guys all of my favorite products from the past year and what time is better to film this than on the last day of 2018. Yes, I'm just at home today. I'm not going out for festivities, just going to stay at home, spend some time with family, eat a lot. It's gonna be great. So let's get right into this because I have a feeling this is going to be a really long video. I'm going to cut it into two parts. This is the first part and I'm going to be talking about my favorite makeup releases for this year. Ready? Let's go. So let's start off with primers first because this is what you put first on your face after all. This year I have two favorite primers and they're both actually quite different. This is the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer and I also have the MAC Prep and Prime Moisture Infusion Serum Hydratant Primer thing. This one is more of like a oil control primer where when you put it on it just gives you this very velvet matte finish to work on, whereas this one is more like a very hydrating, almost gel moisturizer like primer. I like to use both of them, not at the same time obviously, but depending on which foundation I'm using. Both of these are more on the expensive side, but I find that they work best for me. I've tried some drugstore primers this year as well, but unfortunately didn't work for me. So these two are the winners for me this year. And then from there you have your foundations. I have two favorite foundations this year and also one cushion. Of course my holy grail cushion is still the LANEIGE whitening cushion. I didn't use that so much this year because I've been mostly using foundations, but the other one that I also really loved is this new one from LANEIGE. This is their, I don't even know what this is called, it's like the cover cushion I think. So with this one, when you open it up you actually have your sponge, which is really interesting because there's a top part to this as well, and you also have your concealer on one side and your like foundation cushion on the other side, which I thought was really interesting. I think this works really well for touch up because you can determine if you just want to touch up like some caking areas or if you want more coverage on certain spots. This was really good. And they also recently released their holiday version of this, which I think I'm going to be picking up as well. And in addition to that, there are two foundations that I just love this year. Once again, my holy grail foundation is of course the Fenty foundation and also the primer. But I didn't use that this year because I was wanting to try out something new. So instead, I have the Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation, which I use in the shade Snow, which is the second lightest shade. Personally, I think that's a little bit ridiculous considering that I'm Asian, so as much as I'm light, I'm not like porcelain, like I'm not extremely pale. So I feel like this shade range actually needs to go a bit lighter. So this is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation. It is infused with peach and sweet fig cream. So this actually has a scent to it. Personally, I hate the scent. So if it weren't for the scent, then this would probably be one of my holy grails. But I hate how it smells. It just wears really well on my skin. It has like a medium coverage, I would say. It's quite buildable. So yeah, if you want something super full coverage, this isn't it. But if you want a medium coverage with like a very comfortable matte finish, then this is really good. And in addition, this is another foundation. It's been out for quite a while and I know that a lot of people love this, but I only just started trying this out a couple of weeks ago. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. So why aren't you focusing? So in the past I've used their water nude one, which is more like a dewy one, whereas this is the more like matte and apparently high coverage one. I find this to have a medium coverage. I don't know, I don't find it to be like super thick, but I also blend it out with a beauty blender, so maybe that's it. I'm actually wearing it today. I personally really love this one as well. It wears really well throughout the day. I get like a very oily T-zone, so all I really have to do is blot, and it doesn't break up the foundation or anything at all, so this is also a really great one. And then lastly, I have two concealers which I absolutely will repurchase and love, and both of them are drugstore, so you cannot say I'm high maintenance. I have the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour concealer, and I also have another one from Maybelline, the Instant Age Rewind, which is also a cult favorite, but I only just recently started using it this year, and as you can see, I'm outside a new one of this. This one is more like a hydrating, lighter coverage concealer, which is really great for under eyes. I'm not using it today because, as I said, I'm out, but this is really great for that, especially if you tend to find most concealers feel too dry and cakey underneath the eyes. The other one, which is the Superstay 24-hour, is really good for spot coverage because this one has a very matte finish. It's a very high coverage, and it's also easy to blend out, so this one stays in place when you need it. And then from there, let's move on to the biggest category for me this year, considering I couldn't stop spending my money on them: eyeshadow palettes. So my palette collection has grown substantially this year, and there were actually a couple that I weren't that happy with, I guess. There were a few that I were disappointed with, but there's also a couple that I absolutely love. I'm going to be talking about 6 of them today, but 2 of them are from the same brand as others. So technically it's 4 brands, 6 palettes. Yeah. So the first one I'm going to be talking about, and one that a lot of people love this year, is the Urban Decay Born to Run. This one, it's like a little bit heavy, it's a bit big, which is a bit strange considering it's a travel palette. But the color selection on this is just beautiful. It's like such a great variety. You can do anything that you want with this. And the formula is just stunning. Like, let me do a random swatch here. Ha. I don't know, I love the shades on this, and I just think it's really blendable, really beautiful. Only thing I don't like about this palette actually is the packaging. Like, I don't know, as a designer myself, I get very bothered by this sort of packaging. I prefer how they did like the Naked Heat and the Naked Cherry packaging. I wish they would do something like that. Just something a bit more artistic. This feels a little bit clip arty to me, but aside from that, I love this palette. And then after that, this is a indie brand. So I started venturing into indie brands this year, and I'm not turning back because this Juvia's Place palette is freaking amazing. I get compliments every single time I use it, like without fail. People will be like, oh wow, your eyeshadow is so nice. I'm like, thanks, I'm using the same palette I was the last week when you said that. So this is the Magic Mini palette. As you can see, their mini palette is pretty massive. Personally, I don't think I would ever need a full-size one. So these are the shades in it. Just look at how beautiful they are. And aside from like these 2 like dark shades, which I personally have a little bit of trouble working with, all these other brighter shades are just, they're very vibrant, they're very pigmented because they're designed to also work on deeper skin tones, and they're also very blendable, and they're just beautiful. Like, look at this one. I'm like swatching over old figure swatches, so this is not going to be great, but just look at how beautiful that is. I'm deceased. I love this one. And in the new year, I'm definitely going to be buying more of the Juvia's Place palettes. That's a tongue twister. They actually had a really great Boxing Day sale, but I'm currently on a no buy, so I couldn't get them, but I know I will soon because I love this formula. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about another indie brand that I first tried out this year and can't get enough of. This is Lime Crime. Both of these palettes are from them and I absolutely love it. I have the Venus XL as well. This is the Venus 3, which, oh, I nearly dropped all the palettes off my lap. So this is the Venus 3. Let me just get that coating. And those like the colors. This is like a very beautiful like pink purple sort of palette. Let me clean my fingers a bit and give you a swatch. The pigmentation on this is beautiful, and personally I just love the shade range. I think that it just looks so gorgeous on the eyes. I know these aren't the best swatches, and you know, you can go to my blog if you want a better swatch on everything, but this is another one that I loved. And I also recently picked up their birthday palette when they had a sale as well. And I was in love with this from the moment I first saw it, and I didn't get it because it's a rainbow palette, as you can see. And I know I don't tend to use full rainbow palettes that often. However, these shades are just so blendable, so beautiful. Only ones I am a little bit disappointed with, I actually can't remember which ones. I think it might have been like this and that or something, which were more sheer than I thought they would be. Like, let me have a check. So this is Blue Sky. Yeah, so Blue Sky is also beautiful, but it's just sheerer than what I thought it would be in the pan. But aside from that, these shades are beautiful. Honestly, I am so amazed at the Lime Crime formula, and after trying out a couple of their palettes this year, I'm probably going to keep buying them next year. I'd also really recommend grabbing this while it's still available because this one's limited edition. Okay, and the last palette is from a high-end brand. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam, and I also have the Sultry palette, both that I really love. This is their limited edition holiday one, and this is from their permanent collection. So depending on when you're watching this video, I would recommend both of them. Soft Glam, actually, it didn't, actually both of these palettes didn't really amaze me at first. I looked at the color section and I was just like, okay, this is pretty. It's very neutral, and I don't wear neutrals that often, I think. Or I do, but I tend to deepen them a lot. But this is just such a versatile palette. I've taken it traveling with me for like a 3-week trip, and every single day, like, I can just do something that I love that's different just with the one palette. So if you're someone that loves neutrals, or if you're someone that wants something that's great for travel but isn't necessarily like a quad or something, you know, like something that's still versatile, then I would recommend checking out the Soft Glam palette. And if you're wanting with the Holiday Sultry palette right now, this is one that a lot of people were saying online that they didn't like it because it was, once again, very neutral. But I thought this was actually a very unique addition to my collection because it's very cool toned. That pop of pink is very beautiful. So if you cover up the pop, let me find a better way of doing it. So if you cover up that pop of pink, this is a very neutral palette, but it's also like a very cool tone neutral palette. And a lot of these shades, as much as they're like a bit basic, they're also just really beautiful. Like Cyborg gets my soul every time. I don't even know where to swatch anymore. Cyborg, like, can you see that? It's just like this gorgeous, like, almost taupe thing. I don't know how to describe it, but these shades are just beautiful. If you can go check it out in store, I would highly recommend it because it looks very different in photos than how it is in real life. And those are my top picks for the year. Best palettes ever. Okay guys, don't go anywhere yet because we're only about halfway done with this video. Next I want to talk about my favorite highlighters, and of course I cannot go past this one. This is the MAC Extra Dimension Skinfinish in Snowflushed. This is part of their Pretty Shiny Things holiday collection, so get this while you can if it's still available. If you have a look at it, hopefully it catches on camera. It's like a really beautiful duochrome highlighter, and it won't pick up in photos. So I keep trying to do a review for this and it just won't pick up. That's a swatch. I have a feeling it doesn't look as good on camera as it does in real life, but this is the #1 most unique highlighter I've ever gotten. Like, I have so many highlighters, I'm like, I'm never gonna need a new one in my life. I have every possible shade I need. Then I saw this and it's like, you have to check this one out. They have the Oh Darling one as well, which it's like a champagne shade. It's pretty. I'm not that into it. It's kind of like a lot of other things in my collection. But this one is amazing. So check it out. This is the Snowflushed color. And on the topic of very glittery highlights, we also have the Fenty Beauty, I think it's called the Diamond Bomb. Diamond Bomb All Over Diamond Veil in How Many Carats. Mine actually looks a little bit gross because I've been going into it with my normal highlighter brush, which has a little bit of like a nude stain to it. But this one is very good if you want a very glittery, like it, I almost use it as a highlight topper because it's just so vibrant, if you can see that there. So I use this kind of like a highlight topper. I'm wearing it today alongside like a what's the other highlight I'm wearing? I'm wearing it on top of a standard sort of highlight, and it's just very vibrant. It gives like a very white glitter wet look almost to the skin. But that being said, this one isn't for everyone. I personally love this because I love glittery highlights, but check this one out in store. Try it on your skin, and if you love it, grab it. This one's part of the permanent collection, I think, so you can check this out whenever you like. And then we have another drugstore highlighter. This is the Maybelline Master Chrome Highlight. This one has been out in the States for quite a while, I think, but it only came into Australia like mid-year. And this is the best drugstore highlighter that I've used. I find it comparable to like Becca, which, you know, costs a significant amount more than Maybelline. But it's just so pretty. Look at that. It's just blinding. There's this gold version and there's also a rose gold version that's available in the States but not here in Australia. Hoping that they will bring it in because I want to get that as well. But for my drugstore highlighters, this is definitely the one that I've gravitated towards the most this year. Whenever I don't know what to wear, I just always reach for this one. And then this one is a special holiday palette, but unfortunately it's only available in Australia and in New Zealand. I'm talking about the Mecca Max Get Lit Illuminating Palette. I love this. I've been reaching for it so much since I got it. This is a 6-pan, oh, you can see my camera. This is a 6-pan highlighter palette. You guys know that I don't generally reach for highlight or contour palettes because I find that I only ever use like maybe 2 shades on there because they're not all going to work for my skin. But these are just so universally flattering, and they're also like a very metallic highlight, which is very interesting to me. I find it comparable to the Hourglass metallic strobe palette from like 2 years ago or something, and that one was limited edition, so I can't get it anymore. And I find this formula very comparable to it. Let me try and swatch. Look at that. Look at how stunning these shades are. I love this palette. I keep grabbing for it, and I wish that it was available like all over the world so I could just tell everyone to get it. Unfortunately, it's only available in Australia and New Zealand, where Mecca Maxima will ship out to. And it's also a holiday release, so get it as soon as you can. I think it's only like $30 Australian or something, so it's really, really affordable as well. I was really lucky that I was gifted this one pre-release because I went to a Mecca event with Makeup by Mario, but honestly I would have so quickly purchased this with my own money. Okay, and then I have 2 blushes this year that I've loved. I generally don't experiment with blush all that often. I pick like the shades that I really like and I'll keep using it as long as the formula is good. But this year I have really loved 2 of them. One is the Too Faced Peach My Cheeks Melting Powder Blush. Once again, not a fan of the scent, but love this formula. So this is the one I have. I think this is in the shade Ginger Peach. So I have Ginger Peach. And this is like a cream to powder formula. And it applies really, really well with a brush. So my friends got me this for my birthday, and they know that I hate using my fingers for makeup. I will avoid it like the plague. Sometimes I have to do it, most of the time I'll refuse. But this one picks up so well on a brush, and it has a very powdery sort of finish, so it also blends out really well on the skin. And the other one that I've loved and I've been reaching for a lot is this Milani one. This is the Blossom Time Rose shade of their powder blush. It's the one that looks like a rose. Oh wait, no. Maybe this is called Blossom Time Rose. Either way, this is shade 11. And it's like a very like neutral, mauvey sort of dusty rose shade that I love. I've reached for this so much. Unfortunately, I don't think we can get Milani in Australia, or maybe we can only get it online, but I got this while I was in the States. If you guys know where I can buy Milani in Australia, whether it's in-store or online, leave it down below because I need more of these. Okay, and guys, we're on the home stretch. I'm finishing this video off with my favorite lip products of the year. You guys know that the year, like last year, my like kryptonite was lip products. I ended up having so many of them, and I still have nowhere to put them now because I keep running out of space for them. But this year it switched to eyeshadow palettes, so I haven't tried out as many different lip products as I usually would, but I've still tried out a lot of them, and I found ones that I really loved. At the top of that list is, if I can grab it properly, this is the YSL Tattooage Lip Stain. I have it in the shade 7 and 12. I have all of them sitting on my lap, so I'm trying to balance it. So this is the YSL Lip Stain in shade 12, shade 7. Shade 7 is more like a neutral mauve sort of color, while shade 12 is like a classic warm tone red. They have like this typical rose scent of YSL products, but these ones stay on the lips so well, and they're just weightless on the lips. When you put them on, you blend it out, you can't tell you're really wearing anything. They're really thin. They wear well. They've got a really great color range. They are a bit expensive in Australia. I think they're like $55 each or something. I got these duty free because I like to save money. Yeah. But yeah, so they're like 55 Australian, I think, so they're a bit expensive. But I've got 3 of these colors. I've also got an orange one in the back there, and I think I'm going to grab a 4th one sometime this year, maybe when Sephora has its sale, because there's another color, I think it's called like Rosewood or something, that is just screaming my name and I just need it. Another lip product that I've been crying for is the MAC Powder Kiss. This was just launched this year. I have nowhere to swatch anymore. Okay, here. This was just launched this year, and it's like a very it's a powdery matte formula. It's very lightweight on the lips again, and it blends out really well, especially if you're like me and you like to do gradient lips. The only downside of this is that because it's a new product, they don't have... Yes. Because this is a new product, they don't have that many colors for it, which is kind of a downside, but I have the shade Devoted to Chili. At the moment, it's the only color that I really, really wanted, aside from a red, which I have like a million of anyway. So I'm hoping that they release more colors of that this year. This definitely is the top MAC lip formula for me at the moment. Another one that I loved is from the holiday collection with Patrick Star. This is the shade Spank Me Santa, which I'm wearing today. I originally only wanted the red one, which is called Slay Me, and I was just like, should I get this, should I not? Looks very neutral, don't really wear neutrals. Kind of looks brown, don't really wear browns. Grabbed it anyway because I hate buying lip colors in singles, which is one of my very pedantic things. But I ended up wearing this more than the red one. So if you guys can get your hands on Spank Me Santa, check this one out because I love this shade specifically. Okay, and then here's a controversial pick for my favorite lipstick, or one of my favorite lipsticks of the year, Kat Von D. This is the shade Cathedral, which I know it's been out a long time and they've reformulated it as well, but I discovered this one because they were like reformulating and I bought the old version because it was cheap. This is the shade Cathedral, and it's like, it's got this gorgeous vanilla scent, and it's just my favorite color actually. I think this is like, this and Spank Me Santa is probably my #1 favorite shade. If you guys want to check out a really nice neutral but not pale neutral color, check out Cathedral. That is if you still want to support Kat Von D. Personally, I don't agree with anything she does or says. I'll buy her products if, one, they're affordable, two, if they're really good. You know, like, I'm looking at the product, not at her as a person. But do I support her as a person? No. Yes, that was me chucking that to the ground. And finally, these are two other products that I've loved and are probably a little bit more affordable than the ones I previously mentioned. This is the NYX Intense Butter Gloss, and I also have the 3CE Soft Lip Lacquer. So let's talk about this one first. This is a highly pigmented opaque lip gloss, which I was looking for, and I like sent messages out on Facebook to people and was like, please recommend me your favorite lip gloss, because I was obsessed with the finish of lip glosses for a while, but I don't like pale lips. It looks ridiculous on me. So I wanted something that was very pigmented as well, and I just couldn't find it. People recommended this one to me. I personally don't use a lot of drugstore stuff, and I don't use that much from NYX either, but these, like, these won me over, and I kept buying them after that. My favorite shade is this one. This is Toasted Marshmallow. Toasted Marshmallow. It's got a very nice scent as well, but if I can like swatch it, so I'm gonna try. Yeah, swatch queen. So that is how that lip gloss looks, and it's just so opaque. It's almost like a lipstick, but it's a gloss, and it also like blends out really nicely, keeps your lips hydrated. It doesn't like cling to dry patches or anything like that. So the Intense Butter Gloss, I think the Butter Gloss is more sheer. The Intense Butter Gloss is the good one. That's the one you need to get. And then lastly, it's the 3CE Soft Lip Lacquer. I have this in two shades. So I have this in Midnight Bottle and Perk Up. I think a lot of the shades are actually kind of similar. Like they're all along like reds, deep reds, light reds, corals. Like the typical K-beauty sort of shade. So I think that's the disappointment here. But the formula on this is just so nice. Let me do a proper swatch for you guys. So that is it. You can see it's very similar to Toasted Marshmallow. You can tell what type of colors I like. But this one has like a very lightweight, like almost liquidy formula, and it dries down like fully matte. It's still drying, so I can't show you guys. But I find it very comparable to the NARS lip pigments, which are like $40 or something. Like they're fairly expensive. So this is like a very good K-beauty dupe to that if you guys want. I also love the NARS pigments, but yeah, these are a lot more affordable. So these definitely are like one of the top ones on my list of best lip products. So that was a pretty long video, guys. I'm going to like clean off these swatches, and then I'm also going to film the best skincare products of the year, which is actually going to be a lot shorter because I don't experiment with skincare that much. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know on the bottom if there are any recommendations that you have. What were your favorites of this year? Because I don't really go by when products are released. If I try them in 2019, they are in the running for my best products of 2019. So let me know down below what you guys have used, what you guys would recommend, so I can try them out as well. And who knows, maybe I will find another favorite from yours. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for welcoming me back. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I think there's like a bell that everyone keeps saying to ring. I would say ring that bell, but personally I'm still struggling to upload regularly, so I don't know. Hit the bell anyway, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Mwah.